my dome. Concrete walls, yeah, it's my home. Stockpile stacked with rations tight. Prep for the dark, we'll light the fight. Forage the woods, take what I need. Off-grid living, no time for greed. Barter goods in the shadow shade. Tactical steps in plans I've laid. Back to the bunker where the truth won't bend. Water and food where the road might end. Bug out bags by the door, stand tall, prepared for the fall. Yeah, prepared for it all. Generators hum, a comforting sound. Blackout nights when chaos surrounds. Seeds in jars, yeah, we're growing life. Homesteading strong in a time of strife. No high-tech wires, no web to roam. Resilience beats the world unknown. Hands in the soil, hearts in the fight. Staying ready every day, every night. Back to the bunker where the truth won't bend. Water and food where the road might end. Bug out bags by the door, stand tall, prepare for the fall. Yeah, prepare for it all. Back through the bunker where the truth won't bend. Water and food where the road might end. Bug out bags by the door, stand tall, prepare for the fall. Yeah, prepare for it all. Prepare for it all.
Okay, guys. Good evening. Hopefully, I'm glad you're all here. While I wait for the Wandering Prepper to figure out that he's no longer in the live stream, I'm going to ask you all to be very patient. As usual, the software has kind of done some really weird stuff that doesn't make any sense to me. Do me a favor, guys, and give me a 5x5 in the chat. Let me know that we're operational there. There he is. There he is.
Just saw your email. Sorry about that.
That's okay, bro. You are live now. Okay, so yeah, I told you as soon as I pushed that button, something was going to go wacko. So I'm slowly figuring these things out and trying to figure them out. I'm
All
so
good.
unprofessional right now.
No,
But guys,
you're all good.
I want to introduce you guys to a friend of mine, the Wandering Prepper. Now, one of the things that you guys know that I do is I ask Grok who someone is. So if you guys ever get a chance to ask tell me who I am, you'd be very surprised. So with that said,
It's like Googling yourself, right?
Kind of, but he can do a deep dive. Grok can be pretty crafty. All right, let's see here. We're gonna go through it. This is his channel right here, guys. He's currently at, so this morning it was at 3,500, and when I asked Grok, he said he had 3,500 or 3.53K, and now he's at 3.54K. So for those of you all that are following him, please continue to do that. One of the things I failed, I didn't want to break it, was I always put how people can find you. Guys, check the description and make sure that I've got his link in the description. Let me know in the chat. And before we get too deep into this, we got Debbie Chandler. First, Rose. Number 2, and Catitude. You young lady are deterred. That's followed by Mike. We got Cindy. We got Rose, West Virginia, Pappy. All righty, then Canada. Ian, good to see you, bro. Who we got? We got Grumpy Acres Farm. Sniff, sniff. Smells like CLP and wet canvas in here. Well, you know the thing about Grumpy, I'm one of those guys. I'm completely happy on the beach, butt naked, wearing my Oakleys, with a light coat of CLP and some flip flops. If you know, you know. Looks like Cindy's in the house, and Mike showed up. Good to see you. Good to see you guys. All right, so I've got the Wandering Prepper here. His name is Matt. If you guys need to know, I asked first, and this is his webpage right here. But old Grok says that Matt focuses on prepping and survival topics, including emergency preparedness, food storage, survival gear, bug out strategies, health preparedness, micro prepping, which really got my attention, and gardening. Also, let's see here. The videos including practical demonstrations like stockpile for 2 adults for 60 days in a small closet. One of my favorite videos. And I don't watch, I'll be honest with you, Matt, I don't watch a lot of other YouTubers. So let's see here. 60 days and discussions on emergency oversights. And this says the creator's personal identity is not explicitly disclosed in the channel's content or available on web information. How mysterious.
By design.
By design. That's right. Nobody needs to know who you are. You don't need to know my name. Anywho, welcome to the channel, Matt. I want to thank you for hanging out with us and accepting my invitation. So tell me about your mother. No. Anyway, so with how did you come up with Wandering Prepper? And then we'll get into the hard questions.
I mean, it just came to me, I mean, if I started thinking about sort of, what I wanted the channel to look like from a content standpoint, I couldn't really nail it down, like if you look at the urban prepper, everything he does is in an urban environment. That's not me. I'm not a bushcraft expert. My channel's not going to be 100% about bushcraft. It's not going to be. So when I started trying to determine what kind of content I thought I wanted to make, it was a little bit of a hodgepodge of different topics. And it's just what I came up with because it wasn't, first of all, it wasn't in use, which I thought was cool. And I travel a lot. I'm kind of older in life, and my wife and I travel a lot. And I do a lot of traveling, sort of locally in this part of the country, doing either recreating for one or doing survival type stuff. So it just kind of fit, I think, more than anything.
Gotcha. Everybody asked me where I came up with Local Prepper, and I couldn't figure out a name that wasn't used.
Right. Right.
Honestly, that's how, and it's like, well, I'm just your local prepper. But that's actually how it came up. I couldn't find anything else that was like, Delta Foxtrot, Mario prepping,
Yeah.
I couldn't come up with anything like
Epic
that.
survival or
I
whatever.
know.
Some kind of crazy.
Epic.
Yeah.
Epic deathmatch survival.
Right. I'm not that bold, man. I mean, I maybe I come across as that way sometimes on my channel, but I'm a pretty down to earth, humble guy, to be honest with you. So
I got you. Well, Grumpy, who I actually know in real life, says that Gemini told me the Wandering Prepper was a black Viking.
yes.
That is hilarious. Rural Tri-C, good to see you. Good to see you. And Rural, you will be seeing the Wandering Prepper in our YouTube /podcast developers members only area as well here shortly. So you can hang out with him and talk to him on all those other different little things. But yeah, like we were talking about before, one of the videos that got me was I think that was like the very first one that ever popped up in my stream was Urban Prepper's apology video and your response to that. So what was that all about? What was that all about?
I think it's two things. Like, for one, I just kind of hate trolls, to be honest with you. And, in starting a YouTube channel, I kind of felt like that was my biggest fear, is that people would just troll me so much that I would just say, forget this, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not doing it for the money. I'm not doing it for any notoriety. I'm just doing it to try to help people. And that hasn't happened, by the way. Like, the reception has been great. But when I kind of saw people trolling him about the fact that he was going to Costco and buying peanut butter, peanut butter that had some sugar in it versus natural peanut butter or whatever, like, it kind of irked me,
Yeah.
And so I knew that his video was sort of a parody, it was a funny video. He intended it for it to be that way, and I kind of intended for my response to be that way as well. But
Hmm.
I don't know, I just kind of felt like, I don't know, maybe from a fellow YouTuber standpoint, I just kind of wanted to, like, give my 2 cents and say, like, you guys need to chill out. Like, this is BS, And then the other thing about it was, and I think you're gonna sort of touch on this in a few minutes, but I was getting ready to make that micro prep video where I do the stockpile in my house. And
Yeah.
one of the things I stockpile is peanut butter. And I
Hmm.
stockpile Jif. I know it's got sugar in it or whatever. I know that other stuff has palm oil in it, which is bad for the environment. Like, I'm aware of all these things. But I just thought it was hilarious that if I post a response to this saying people should be able to eat whatever kind of peanut butter they want, and then I turn around and put out a video saying, look, I stockpile peanut butter,
You hypocrite.
I just thought it would be hilarious, So it just kind of how it worked out. I was sitting in my truck and I'm like, I don't know, I was just kind of going through it in my head, as you probably can relate to as a YouTuber. You're constantly thinking about how you might narrate something or narrate a video or whatever. And I just started going through it in my head that morning, and I'm like, I'm recording this. Like, this is too good. Like, I don't know why. I'm on my A game. I've had too much coffee. I'm just going to go throw together a 4-minute video and post it out there. I'm pretty sure nobody's going to watch it. And then it kind of blew up. So it was pretty funny, but that's what it was all about.
I got you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've done some rebuttal videos in my past. I actually just did a very recent rebuttal video, but it didn't gain much traction, which is fine by me. I don't want to be like the guy who's known for like making videos that are saying you're wrong, you're screwed up, Mister. You don't know what you're talking about. The gray in my beard does not bode well for the younger crowd. But quick shout out to ODS, guys. If you see him in there in the chat there, if you get a chance to say hi to him, he's actually somebody that I met in person. He has a pretty funny, pretty interesting live stream. So make sure you guys go check him out.
And by the way, I just want to say, like, I appreciate that people are in the chat. This is pretty awesome. I did try to kind of promote it on my channel. I don't know if there's anybody here from my channel, but I just wanted to say that I'm always looking for new channels. So if anybody on here has a channel, please contact me. Let me know who you are. Maybe I'll see you in the Discord. Like, feel free to reach out. Like, I'm a pretty social guy overall. And if we're talking about prepping, I can do that all day long. So I just wanted to say thanks to the people who are here. If you got questions, like, send them out, and like, shout out to me if you want to, we can chat about prepping or whatever.
Gotcha. Perfect. We do have a question in the chat. It's from West Virginia Pappy. He's a longtime follower. He says, how big is a get home bag for a frequent traveler? And I know you've got Matt travels quite a bit. He's got some worldly travels under his belt. So Matt, talk to us.
Well, it depends is the answer. It depends on, to me, it's how far away are you from home? That's what it's all about, in my opinion. I mean, there's a lot of other considerations too. Like, do you have health issues? Do you have to carry stuff for that? So it really depends, I think, on your personal need. The other consideration I would say is, what is your mode of transportation? How are you going to get home? So, for example, like, I'll just come up with a random idea, but I live in a pretty remote area in the Colorado mountains. I know every single road and Forest Service road and highway and backcountry trail and everything in my area. And I just sort of, for me, my get home bag, if I'm in my local area, say not more than half an hour's drive from my house, is significantly different from what I might pack if I'm going on an airplane, for example, or if I'm driving across the country, or If I'm international, if I'm going to be in an international company where there are certain things I can't bring with me, that's actually about to happen, and I'll talk about that in just a second. But I always anticipate that I will have to walk home. I think that's one of the things that people really miss. So when I lived in the city of Denver, which is a huge city, my whole philosophy around bugging out, bugging in, get home bags, bug out bags, all that stuff was completely different from the situation that I'm in now. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that when you look at a metropolitan city that has 2 or 3 million people and only a couple of highways to get the hell out of Dodge if something goes wrong, um, like that is almost the biggest consideration. So I quit skiing 15 years ago because I-70 out of Denver was so full of ski traffic, you'd sit there for 6 hours. And that always got me thinking, like, well, what if like an shtf scenario happens and I've got to get out of town? I'm not going to be able to drive anywhere. Let's be honest, I'm not. So I started researching, motorcycles and like how I could move around better. I looked at like train schedules because there was a train yard near me and I knew that I could hop a train to Wyoming if I had to, that kind of thing. Not to get off on a tangent, but I feel like your get home bag is entirely dependent on your personal needs, meaning how many people might be with you. Do you carry kids around in your car very often? You need to consider that in case you've got that bag in your trunk. It needs to include them if they're riding with you half the time. Can you carry that backpack that you've got full of stuff for however long you think the maximum amount of mileage might be? Can you carry it for 20 miles? Do you have health considerations? So to me, if you ask how big does it need to be, it needs to be big enough, in my opinion, for you to be able to walk yourself home. That's just the number one answer. If it's only big enough for you to drive home in 12 minutes or whatever it is, it's probably not big enough. But like I was sort of touching on a second ago, like you don't want to make it so big that you can't carry it and you have to start throwing stuff in the ditch or whatever it is, So I think that the overall broader topic is far more complicated than people think. And I did a video recently that kind of touched on this and I see these every day, every single day, where people online, government organizations, county governments, reporters, so-called survivalists, whatever, will curate these articles around, here's all the things you need to survive for 72 hours. And most of that stuff is total crap. So I'm not sure if I'm answering your question, but I guess I'm just trying to say that it's an extremely personal thing based on where you live, how you can protect yourself, who might be with you, how far do you need to go to get home, can you carry your backpack that far, those kinds of things. So long answer to your question, but that's kind of the way I think about it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny too because you started to talk about one of your last videos, and it was like, so I actually had something prepared because So one of the reasons that I got into this whole thing on YouTube was because I'm a former Marine. I've got about 33 years of service, and I watched this. There was a trend in 2000, I think it was 2019, 2000, where special forces guys were being allowed to talk about certain things, where they weren't being like banged down. When I was basically back in the old Corps, you signed 50-year NDAs. And so there's lots of things I can't talk about, and I never will. But these days, it's not like that. So these guys were coming out of the woodworks talking about operations they've been on and being brought into organizations on YouTube that turn into ginormous companies. And, hey, I'm Doc, and now I can buy this kit. And then you start to price the kit out, and it's crazy. But there was another guy. I have not followed him in years. Honestly, I don't remember his name. But there was another guy. I'm not joking. He held up like one of those, what is it, 511, the standard, you know what I'm saying? The standard brick
like
bag.
A rucksack? Yeah.
It's like a little bitty 511 rucksack. It's like 20, 25 cubic, liters at the most, right? It's a standard Chinese knockoff bag. Anyway, and he's like, here, this is my bag. This is my bug out bag, and this is what's in it. So I actually have like a little parody. So
Good luck. Good luck with that.
This is my bug out bag. This
Oh
is
man, you're gonna
and I
make
wanna
it
talk
real
about-
far.
I want to talk about what's inside of this bag. And so the first thing I want to show you that's inside my bag is this giant jacker. This guy was pulling out like lanterns, extendo. I mean, just the craziest stuff. It's like, that's not going to fit in this bag. You know what I'm saying? And I did read that article that you put out there that you were talking about from the Huffington Post.
Yeah.
And you were spot on with that. This 1 gallon, $150 thermos water thingy. Yeah. It just carried water. You know what I'm saying? It didn't do anything else. And
weighed 4 pounds or 5 pounds or something like that.
Dude, I'm telling you, a gallon of water weighs 8.43 pounds.
But the jug weighed 4 or 5.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen a lot of videos like that. You know, it's absolutely insane. If you guys don't have a chance to find that Huffington Post, just like Google Huffington Post, Huffington Post prepper gear, and this list will come up. It's unbelievable. It's like people complain about YouTubers that have like links in their description for their videos. But this was so overboard, it wasn't even funny. It was absolutely insane. Whoever wrote this article.
Well, you know what? Can I interrupt you for a second?
Sure.
LP?
Yeah.
What's really interesting about this article, and I didn't go into this in the video because I've learned to try to keep my videos succinct and short, and so it doesn't overwhelm people or whatever. But a lot of people from Texas here tonight. That's awesome. So I did do my research before posting the video because I try to do that so I don't look like a clown saying something I'm not supposed to say or whatever.
Yeah.
And the people, I don't know if you looked at this, but the people they referenced as experts, one of them is the girl, I think she's Australian, and she was on Alone or Naked and Afraid or something like that. She's a stunt woman, was on all kinds of Hollywood films. Like, she's a legit survivalist,
Yeah.
Another guy was a big, I think, Instagram guy or TikTok guy or something like that. Has like 2 million followers. I don't follow him. I don't know who he was. He seemed to me like at least he kind of knew what he might be talking about. I'm not totally sure, but what I thought was interesting is that they seem to actually try to find some reputable survival people to talk to.
Yeah.
But then somehow curated this whole list of stuff. And I'm like, and I just couldn't help but think, like, there is no way in hell this girl who was on Naked and Afraid is going to recommend that you go buy a 12-pack of underwear to put in your go bag.
Yeah.
So you have fresh underwear to carry around for 2 pounds or whatever it is. Like that's not right. That's not right. But the point being, as you know, a lot of people are going to read that article and they're going to run out and put that bag together, and then they're going to die because they don't have the right stuff.
I got all this stuff and none of it will keep me alive. I wonder, when Amazon starts selling common sense, I'm going to buy stock. I'm going to buy a little bit of stock there. The other funny thing too is, a lot of people don't know. It's like, so like I said, I got into YouTube because I wanted to save people money. I was just tired of it. But I looked at that list and it was like some very, very, I would say it's mid-grade kind of expensive stuff. Unfortunately what's happening is we're starting to see large organizations, like Huffington Post, I'm even seeing it on a Roku TV, Direct TV, where it's like there's a commercial break, and in that commercial break, that commercial could be about whatever, and then you could literally, like, with your remote control, flick a button. They have something on the screen where you can like buy it instantaneously, or should I say instantly. But what is basically happening is a lot of the big companies are realizing that they can leverage Amazon to sell things under they create their own corporate business profiles, just like anybody else with an Amazon account. And then they like find the most expensive stuff and say, you need this, you're going to die if you don't have it. you know, and so we're going to see more of that. We're going to see more of that. We need to pay very close attention to some of these specific, I hate to say it, but some of the YouTube channels that I hate to use the term shill, but that's what we're doing, you know, to shill for companies, even if they believe in them. You know, I tell people all the time, hey, these are companies that I believe in. If you look in the link in the description for this video, these are companies that I believe in. But I turned away 3 companies today because after researching them, they're either crap or too expensive or ridiculous.
Yep.
You know, so we just kind of, unfortunately, that's probably what happened. They probably were like, hey, maybe we can make a little bit of money on Amazon if we can get, you know, because we have this wide coverage with Huffington Post. People are reading this electronically, and we can get people to click on these links. And then the next time they go off and buy their earrings or their, you know, or their tampons or whatever they're buying, you know what I'm saying, for like 14 days, they get to make a few cents. So I'm pretty sure that's what was happening, but it was just absolutely ridiculous. Those people, you're right. Those people, the legitimate people in the survival / preparedness community, they would not have recommended any of the items that were on that list. It's pretty wholesale ridiculousness.
Yeah, and I think too, like yeah, I'm with you. Obviously, I made the video, but I think too, I'll give you an example of kind of the way my thought process works. And I think I'm going to do a short on this shortly or something, or maybe a video. It's just an idea that I had. But because I've spent a lot of my adult life mountaineering and rock climbing and doing a lot of excursions and expeditions around the world, I don't own a rucksack. I'm not a military guy. I don't own a rucksack. I don't own anything camouflage. I don't own a single thing that's camouflage. I have backpacking packs. For me, they work perfectly because I have 600 compression sacks and like stuff I know exactly how to coordinate all my stuff.
Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to make here is one of the things in that particular video they talked about was emergency whistles.
Yeah.
Now, having an emergency whistle is not a bad idea, but most people don't know that almost every backpack made nowadays on the chest strap,
Yeah.
where you click it together. I don't have one in my office here. I'd show you. There's actually a built-in whistle on the clip that clips together.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know this for years until one day I was like, what the hell is this thing? And then I figured it out. This was years ago. But so the point I'm trying to make here is like, sometimes that's a way to work smarter rather than harder. Don't go buy a bunch of whistles that weigh 4 ounces and throw them in your backpack, and they'll probably get smashed under your 15-pound water jug or whatever. Like there's one right here, or look for a go bag that has it, you know, that kind of thing. So that's just kind of the way I think about those things. If you hear me saying that you shouldn't have a survival whistle, it isn't necessarily that you shouldn't have a whistle, but there's maybe a smarter way to go about signaling for help that doesn't have you buying cheapo Chinese pack of whistles off Amazon and throwing them in your backpack. That just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and it's funny too because sometimes we inadvertently buy whistles. We don't even know it. Like with your pack, I was looking at my fire kit, one of my fire kits the other day, and it's like on the ferrule rod itself had a compass and a whistle.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, I just noticed that has a whistle.
Yep.
Okay. So talk to us about, so when your big video that blew up with 83,000 views, micro prepping, 60-day stockpile. This, I'll be honest with you, you know, I have shelves and shelves and shelves worth of food. I'm your traditional Western prepper who has like a year's worth of freeze-dried food under his bed. But I also do lots and lots of canned goods, and I really enjoyed your video on micro prepping with the 60-day 60-day supply that fit into a bath. Basically, it was a bathroom cabinet, the size of a bathroom cabinet. You know what I'm saying? And talk a little bit more about that, and like how much did it cost, if you know, like how much all that food cost. Because I think, guys, if you go and watch this video, you could literally just Google, like, you know what? Oh, I'm going to fix this right now. Open, copy a clean link. So you guys go find this later. This is the video we're talking about right here. But it's like all this food. I mean, the whole micro prepping concept. I gather because like you lived in apartments a lot. I watched the video where you talked about like some of the securities of the apartment, like the fear of like bad people setting things on fire, and
Yep.
that all really struck a chord with me. But the whole like, tell me how you got the idea to put 60 days worth of food. I mean, like, did you like wake up one morning and go, I think I can put 60 days of food in this cabinet? How did you come up with that?
Um, I think from experience, if I have to like that's the overarching um answer. So I'm in my 50s now. I work in tech. Like I'm in a good place in my life where thankfully I don't have to live in a small apartment. But for much of my adult life, I grew up fairly lower middle class on a homestead in Michigan. I saw Rose ask me about the Tigers. I'm a Detroit fan. It's true because I grew up there. I lived on a homestead, 40-acre homestead in northern Michigan, off grid in a single wide trailer, um, and lived pretty poor most of my life growing up. And I left home at 17, went to college, dirt poor, didn't have a car, nothing. And um, then in my 20s, I was a single parent for many years. And so I lived paycheck to paycheck until I was like 35. And so especially living in a big city where all the jobs are, like Denver, for example, like it's expensive to live and daycare is expensive, food's expensive, car payments, all that stuff, right? So I struggled along for probably like, over a decade living in the smallest apartment I could pull off or the smallest rental or whatever, with a child. And I learned those micro prepping skills. That's just where I learned it. And I was very much always into a preparedness mindset. When I went to college, I studied a lot of public health and emergency preparedness and environmental stuff and all that. And that sort of also got me into this idea behind food shortages and natural disasters and all this other stuff. But um, so I think the idea for that video came from experience because that's the way I lived. I lived that way for easily probably 15 years
Mhm.
where I would stack, canned goods in the tiny crawl space in my attic or under my bed or um, in the trunk of my car or whatever I could pull off. For a long time, I rented like an external storage unit, which I think I did a video on that as well about why that's such a bad idea. But for me at the
Mhm.
time, it seemed like a good idea. And so I think that's where that video came from, is it just wasn't something that I just made up. It wasn't something that I felt like no one had ever done before. That's not how I'm sort of operating my YouTube channel. I'm not just trying to come up with the next best, greatest idea or any of that stuff. I'm just talking about the things that I know. And that's one of the things that I know is how to take really small spaces and maximize them to your fullest potential to keep yourself alive. And I think I also had a lot of ideas around how to not store large items, because you can sort of get snake bit with that. So for example, water is a great idea. So I show in that video like 2 5-gallon fresh jugs of water, but then I also show collapsible jugs.
Mhm.
Because if you really want to store 100 gallons of water, well, that whole closet is now gone. There's no room for food or anything else in there. So I try to make the point that that you kind of have to think through your space that you have to work with. And
Yeah.
so to answer your question, I lived it. I lived it for many, many years and I got good at it. And that's just the idea didn't just come to me overnight. It was just something like, hey, I know how to do this and I know how to talk about it. And so to me, that video was extremely easy to make.
Mhm. And so what was your, and the last question on that one is what was your methodology on determining that that was 60 days worth of food?
It was a total educated guess on my part.
Okay.
I did not empty that closet out and stage it with food and see how full I could get it and calculate the amount of calories it was and all this stuff. Like if you guys actually ever watch the video, you'll notice I didn't really fill half of that closet. every one of those shelves is only about half full. I didn't really fill it
Yeah,
all the way up.
it's true.
So I didn't go into that video with a bunch of like practice runs going, how many cans can I fit on this shelf, or how many boxes of oatmeal or whatever, Um, I literally just in my head, based on my experience, my wife had actually gone out of town for like a week. And I
That's
was
when
like,
the
all
best
right,
videos are made, when
yeah.
they're gone.
And I'm like, I'm gonna take all the towels and all the medications and crap out of this closet and throw them in the corner, and I'm gonna drag all this food out of my stockpile from the crawl space and the garage and everything else, and I'm just gonna figure out a way to like put all this stuff in here. And I literally hit the go button. I started recording and going, hey, how about 20 cans of this? Hey, how
Mhm,
about 8 boxes of this? And I went after the fact
mhm.
and sort of went back through all the numbers with the calories and like all the stuff that I had sort of thrown together. But that's the way I did it. It wasn't curated. I didn't like do practice runs. I just literally went off of my own knowledge and what I had available to me in the house and in my crawl space and my garage and all this stuff. And I think more the motivation for that video wasn't necessarily to tell people you need this checklist of items to live.
Mhm.
It was more, I just wanted to get people thinking about their own life and what they would need to survive. And a great example of that is I'm vegetarian. So I stockpile like vegan jerky and meatless meat and stuff that's shelf stable. And so I could see most people stockpiling beef jerky and cans of tuna and all this stuff.
Mhm.
Like, and I don't
Yeah.
care. Like that's your thing. Go do that. So that whole video was just me trying to say, think about your own life and how many people you have to feed and how much room you have to work with. And just know that you can do it. You can just do it. Maybe it's only 45 days for you. Maybe it's
Mhm.
120, whatever it is. And after that video launched, I still hear from people every day who are like, wow, I didn't know that I could actually just reach back in my cabinet behind all my pots and pans and I can fit 30 canned goods back there stacked up, or whatever it is. It's just thinking about the space that you have available to you. And literally I just shot it in like 4 hours. It took me more time to carry all the food in there than to shoot the video, So
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, sometimes it can suck. Okay, so you're not aware of how this works unless you watch some of my videos. Guys, we've reached halfway through the live stream. As usual, if you love your country, put a one in the chat. Not your government, your country. America. I'm gonna sip some coffee because I like coffee. I'm gonna talk some smack. I'm gonna read you some stuff because this is an educational channel. And as usual, I'm gonna have to pay some bills. Time to get serious, guys. Come here. What if the medical kit you carry could be trusted to save a life every single time? I'm here to tell you about Refuge Medical, an American company that's redefining what it means to be prepared. Now, Refuge Medical is proudly 100% American, based in Oklahoma. Every single component in the first aid kit and trauma gear, from the tourniquet to the gauze to the trauma shears, is sourced right here in America. No shortcuts, no compromises. When you choose Refuge Medical, you're not just investing in your safety or your loved ones. You're supporting American families and rebuilding American manufacturing, which is kind of important right now. Now, why are Refuge medical kits the best on the planet? Well, it's simple. Because they're field tested and trusted by professionals and built to exceed military standards. Why settle for less when you can trust the best? Choosing Refuge Medical, American made, unmatched quality, and guaranteed for life. Just smart. Refuge Medical isn't just about gear, it's about giving you the confidence to act when it matters the most. Back to the show. Okay, there we go. You took advantage of that one.
I did. I ran to the bathroom.
I know, right? Okay, let's see. Yeah, let's see. I don't tell people I'm going to do that because, it's fun. Anyway, let's see here. Before we go any further, I need to make sure everybody knows why is my text not working? There it is. There it is. Guys, tonight is the beginning of the giveaway for the Swiss Tech. It's called the Lodern Fire Kit. I did a video today on this little puppy right here, what's inside of it. And as usual, I got to make it difficult for you guys to win it. So I'm going to leave I think I've got, let me see. Do I have oh, there. Cool, cool. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate you. I think this is the right video link. As usual, guys, you have to go there. You have to follow the rules. And yeah, winning. Anyway, you guys know how to do this. Go to that video at some point and sign up. I will announce the winner tomorrow during tomorrow morning's live stream at 10 a.m. Okay, so getting back to my guest.
I'm going to win. I'm going to win it.
It's very possible for you to win. It's very possible. You just have to follow the rules. Alan's not, or Alrighty then is not allowed to win anything else because he actually won an EMP shield off of me a couple weeks back. And I had to mail it to Canada. So he's not allowed to win anything else. Also, Cool Colt, make sure everybody gives Cool Colt a thumbs up for that one right there. Just saying thank you. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. Okay, so with that said, I kind of brought something up, but I didn't really bring it up. I talked about the EMP shield, and I watched one of your videos, and you were kind of like, I'm not really worried about stuff like that. So give us your thoughts on EMPs and things like that.
I'll give you I'll try to make this really quick, but I'll give you a real world example. Last year we had a solar storm. I think it was like late summer, early fall. Yeah. I actually didn't know about it, which normally I know about those kind of things, that it was coming because ahead of time, a few days ahead of time. I was driving to the gym and the radio stations in my car were not working. And I was like, man, that's really strange. But I live in the rural mountains of Colorado. So like, maybe it's not that strange actually. I get to the gym, I jump on the Stairmaster, I'm doing my workout. And all of a sudden the Stairmaster starts freaking out. Lights flashing. Eventually it turns itself off. And I'm like, man, what in the hell is going on? So then I get back home and I hear about this solar storm or flare or whatever that had hit the magnetosphere or whatever it is. And I was like, oh my God, how did I not know about this? Like, this is a real thing. So the reason I don't worry about EMPs very often, one is because I live in the middle of the country in the United States. The odds of Russia or China or North Korea or anybody launching a nuclear missile that's going to make it above the middle of the country, that's going to detonate and cause problems, is so low. It's not that it's not on my radar. It's just that there are far more important things that I'm worried about. I mean, even the solar flares are far more common than what might happen with an EMP strike from a detonated nuclear device, over the United States. Natural disasters would probably actually be number one. I mean, you guys all know this. All you have to do is look at the flooding, the hurricanes, the tornadoes, the droughts, the wildfires like we have out here. Those are the things that I worry about probably more than anything. So EMPs, I don't ignore them. But I don't have everything in my house buried in Faraday cages either, or bags or whatever. Like I have a couple small ones that I keep some stuff in, but for comms and whatnot. But I don't want to discount it, but it's not on the top of my list for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah. And honestly, even for beginning preppers, it really shouldn't be. It's some of those things are kind of high end devices. They're like, once you get past water, food security, everything's it's gravy. Everything's after that, let's see. I was looking at some of your, so did we already talk about no, that's right. We already talked about your week or your 3-day solo Colorado wilderness thing. Did we do that online or offline? I can't remember.
I don't know. I think it was offline. Might have been off. Yeah.
So tell us, minus the YouTube stuff, you basically tell us the story of this video. Tell us the story of this video, because it was kind of interesting because your wife was involved.
So one of the ideas I had in starting a channel is doing a type of wilderness survival weekend, whatever type trip, because I've done this a lot in the last 20 years. I was a person who grew up watching Survivor Man. I watch all the reality shows. I started many years ago alongside my backpacking and mountaineering adventures and stuff, going out and trying to survive in the wilderness. Like, this was something that I've always been really into. And one of the ideas that I had kind of starting this channel is that I would do a video like that, sort of an alone type video, just in my
Yeah.
own way. I don't know that it ever would have even seen the light of day. I just thought I'm going to try it because I have a lot of skills. I know what I'm doing. So I was talking to my wife about it, and she said, "Why don't you let me pack your bag for you?" Because she watches all this stuff with me. She goes out with me. We do mountaineering trips around the world. Like, she's legit too, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, I don't really know about that, because like if I get out there and I don't have something I need, like I'm not really sure it's going to work."
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Let's do it. Forget it. So we do it. She packs my whole bag for me. Um, and I drive out 3 hours away in the middle of the San Juan out in the La Garita wilderness, like here in Colorado, as remote as I can get. But one thing I do is I evaluate the backpack before I head into the wilderness, because I'm not, and I say that in the video, I'm not actually going to go out in the wilderness and not know what's in my backpack. Like, I'm not going to do
Yeah.
that. It sounds
Surprise.
suicidal, right? So the first thing I do in the video is I kind of go through it and I figure out what's in there and what can I do with it. And there's some hiccups in there. Like, she gives me a map of the area because I told her where I was going, but there's no compass.
Mm.
So there was a lot of there's a ferro rod, but there's one match. She left me one match in a
Oh, she
matchbook.
thought she's going to be cute. Okay.
Yeah, and no lighters, no nothing. So she kind of played with me a little bit, but I went out for 3 days and I kind of made this video as best I could. The weather was really questionable. Um, so getting a shelter up that day after I'd driven for 3 hours and hiked out there and shot a ton of video and all this stuff, I didn't have a lot of time to build a really legit shelter, but it stormed that night, both nights actually, and I did just fine. But that's kind of where the premise of that video was. I just kind of wanted to, in a way, like, even though my channel is not exclusively about bushcraft or survival or whatever, those are
Mhm.
skills that I do have on some level.
Yeah.
And I just kind of wanted to do it. And frankly, if I'm honest with you, LP, I'm more comfortable in the woods than anywhere else. I just
Mhm.
am. I had more fun doing that video, sleeping on top of pine boughs and drinking my whiskey and like hanging out and hearing the
Mhm.
sounds of nature and the storms and all that. Like, I slept like a baby, like, because that's
Yeah.
just my element and that's what I do. So yeah, I made that video. It's the longest video I've ever made. It's the most effort I've ever put into a video. I think it has like 100 views. I've considered taking it down and breaking it up into different pieces or something. Like, it's
Yeah.
going nowhere. I don't think anybody's watching it, but
I'll talk to you later
whatever.
about that. How to fix that. I'll talk to you later. Glad to share my experience on YouTube, even if I'm not really good at it. So, but yeah, I'll definitely talk to you. Yeah, it's a great concept. A lot of people that know me from when I first started, I used to do fireside chats. People love that. I used to live in the woods. People love that. I used to do lots of car camping over the weekends. People love that stuff. I'm with you, brother, man. I love being in the woods. I just don't get a chance to do it very often. That's why I have pictures of the woods behind me now, so
Love it.
I can feel that. I can feel like I'm in the woods. Okay. All right. Let's see here. So where do you see yourself in 5 years on YouTube?
Um,
I told you I was going to ask you this question. You didn't believe me.
I honestly, I don't. I have a career. I work in cybersecurity. I've done IT and cybersecurity work for 25 years, which is very much a dichotomy with my normal life that I live outside of work.
Yeah.
Like we were kind of saying before, I started YouTube because I grew up in a way that forced me to have a preparedness mindset.
Hmm.
I think when you grow up poor, um, you value things more. I think when you have children, you feel that sense of like nurturing, and I have to protect this person or these people in my life. If you pay really close attention to current events, and I won't get into that, but there's a lot of really scary things going on in the world. There always has been, and there always will be, no matter what, whether we're talking about nature or politics or mosquito-borne diseases or whatever it is. There's always going to be a reason to be into preparedness.
Hmm.
Um, so to answer your question, when it came to YouTube, and I think I say this like in my intro video, I just kind of felt like I got to a point in my life where I have like a significant amount of real life experience and
Hmm.
also training. Maybe my training isn't very conventional, but I'm wilderness first aid certified. I did wilderness first responder training. I've been to basic mountaineering school. I've been to high altitude mountaineering school. I've done, I'm CPR certified. Like all the things I've done, all these things, and I just feel like based with my wilderness experience, the things I've done in the last 20 years, the knowledge I have from studying public health and emergency preparedness and environmental science and service processes and ecology and all this stuff in school. I just felt like that coupled with all the BS I saw during COVID,
Hmm.
I just kind of felt this need to like start talking about it, and I didn't really have a good way to do that.
Hmm.
So I thought I'll try YouTube because I think I might not be very good at making videos and I might repeat myself a lot. Maybe my thumbnails suck or whatever, but I hope that maybe people will tune in and listen to what I have to say because I'm not just talking trash. I'm not just talking conspiracy theories. I'm speaking from experience and I'm speaking from education. And really, that's my goal. I'm not here to make money. I'm not here to promote products for other people. I'm here to help the community and help people online. And the feedback's been amazing. A lot of people contact me every day. And so, where am I going to be in 5 years? I hope doing the exact same thing. I hope that you and I can sit down in 5 years and have a follow up call and be like, here's where we are now. Cause I think you and I are kind of like minded in that way. Um, I'm not trying to get to 1 million subscribers. I'm not trying to start a business and hire a team of people and all that crap. I'm not trying to do
Hmm.
that. My short term goal is maybe I can make a little bit of money off some ad revenue to like upgrade my cameras or something, make some better content. But I think if I can mentor people, teach people some important things, like to me, that's what's important. And if I'm still around 5 years from now and I'm still doing that, and I'm still at 3,000 subscribers, I think I'm still going to be doing it because people seem to care about it. And that's my goal. I'm not in it for the money and I'm not in it to get famous or anything stupid like that. I mean, and that's fine if people do that. I'm not trying to poo poo on people, but for me, I'm trying to help. That's really
Yeah.
what it's all about.
Yeah. And I'm tracking with you, bro. I've got, last time I checked, I had like 290,000 subscribers on TikTok. I haven't been on TikTok in months. It's all a joke. It's all a joke. These numbers, they don't really mean anything. As long as you're having fun, as long as you're doing what you want to do, you just keep doing you. Um, we do have a question here from West Virginia Pappy. He
Awesome,
says,
bring it.
does WP do any foraging?
I do a little bit. That's a great question. It's one of the things that I am trying to get better at. So the problem that I have is that I live at 7,500 feet in a very arid, mountainous, short
Yeah.
growing season environment, right?
Yeah.
I actually have a neighbor, which I'm hoping to maybe shoot a video with him next spring, who is a brilliant guy. He's got a master's in botany. He forages he's a fly fishing expert. He has a whole channel he does guided tours around the world and he's super into foraging in the area where we live. And
Hmm.
he's taught me a lot, primarily around like mushrooms and flowers, because we don't
Yeah.
have really a whole lot else. Um, but I'm hoping to maybe shoot a video next spring with him because the problem is you go to these alpine lakes around here, the mushrooms might be around for about a week and that's
Yeah.
it. They're gone. It depends on the altitude you're at. It depends on how much moisture we've had, and all those things. But I did a video. I think was it a video or a short? Actually, I tried to make it a short, but YouTube wouldn't make it a short for some reason last week. I think
Uh-huh.
about Indian paintbrush, which is one of the most common flowers in the Mountain West, and it's edible. It's got
Huh.
selenium or celerium or some kind of
Okay.
mineral or something in it, but it's also high in vitamin C. And so you can eat it. Um, so I'm trying. There's like 1,000, different subspecies of flower in Colorado, but as far as I'm concerned, I've been traipsing around the backcountry here for over 20 years, and I probably see like the same 5 flowers, and that's it. And one of
Yeah.
them is a columbine, the state flower. And so to answer your question, man, like I don't do a lot of foraging, primarily because my growing season here is incredibly short. There's not much to see here. I do a little bit of it. And I'm trying to learn to do more. I kind of wish sometimes I lived in Arkansas or something. I don't know, where there's just
Yeah.
like it's like you're living in the jungle. So you've got
Yeah.
a million different things you can eat, plants, vines, flowers, different fungi, moss, all these things, but we don't have that here. So it's definitely something I'm just not very good at, but
Gotcha.
always like to
Gotcha.
be better at if I can be.
Yeah, that's one of the things I want to be good at, foraging. The problem is we have a lot of mushrooms here on the Eastern Shore of Virginia that will kill you dead.
Right.
So, and
Here too.
I don't have anybody to teach me. So it's, but looks like Rose has got a question for you here. She's like, what type of water purification system / life straw or other do you generally use?
It's like a lot of answers I have to questions. It depends. It depends on what you're doing, right? I have a Sawyer Mini. I have a life straw. I have life straws. I have a box of them. I use iodine tablets. I have a SteriPen, which uses UV light to disinfect water. Doesn't treat chemical stuff, but will disinfect for bacteria. So I think it really depends on, again, like I'm not trying to be vague, but
Hmm.
it depends on what it is what is the problem you're trying to solve. So if you're somebody who's bugging in and maybe you're infirm or you have no way to bug out and your only choice is to bug in and be at home, your choices for water purification are going to be vastly different than somebody who's going to bug out and walk 20 miles carrying a backpack or live in the woods or whatever it is, because weight becomes a consideration, the difficulty of use, that kind of thing. So um, I touch on this a little bit in the micro prepping video.
Hmm.
I think that the advice that I would give is have a variety of solutions. What happens if you're carrying life straws and they fail? They were manufactured in a poor way, and you don't know they fail until you go to use one. Have iodine tablets as a backup.
Yep.
Um, if I'm one of those people who is stuck at home and I need to treat a bathtub full of water, have a bottle of bleach in your closet. Like you can do a cap full of bleach for, I think it's every 3 gallons or something like that. I can't remember,
Hmm.
but you can treat it. You can make it drinkable. Um, so I think that it's like a lot of things that I say, but when we're talking about water science, there's no one silver bullet. There's no
Yeah.
one answer for everybody. That's why, and I think I touch on this a little bit on my channel, but like I do it all. Every single backpack I own or go bag or bug out bag has a life straw, iodine tablets, neutralizer tablets. A couple of them have Sawyer minis. A couple of them, two of them have SteriPens. Um, it just really, and at home I have gallons of bleach and other stuff that I can use. There's gravity fed systems that I think are really popular that I don't have any of those, but I think what I would say is evaluate why you think you need to purify water and then prepare accordingly. Are you
Yeah.
on the move? Are you at home? Are you stuck in your car? What is it you're worried about? What problem are you trying to solve? So there's it's kind of a vague answer, but there's just a lot more to it than there's no one size fits all.
Yeah. Cindy just asked actually a hard question. I'm pretty sure I know the
Ooh,
answer, but I'm going to let you see how we're going to test you today.
do it.
So
If I
Cindy
don't know it, I'll
says,
tell you I don't know it.
what about neutralizing agricultural chemical runoff? What would you recommend?
Neutralizing agricultural chemical runoff. So like fertilizers and stuff like that.
Sure.
Um, Well, so there's two parts to this answer. One is I don't know of any way to neutralize chemical runoff from Monsanto, or what is it? Monsanto proprietary herb herbicides and
Hmm.
pesticides and all that crap. I don't think, does anybody know that? Is there a way to know that? I have no idea. I'm not a chemist.
Hmm.
I have no clue. Um,
Yeah.
the second part of my answer would be if you are relying on that as your source of emergency drinking water, you need to come up with another solution. So unless you're
Yeah.
living on a farm in Iowa where the only drainage ditch in your area you're afraid has Monsanto pesticides in it, maybe you need to buy some 100-gallon, water reservoirs for your garage or something like that. Um, and I'm not trying to be like, rude about it or anything, but like if that is your only solution, then the best thing, in my opinion, and in my experience, you can do is drink it. Treat it as
Yeah.
best you can and drink it and hope you don't grow
Yeah.
a tumor in 5 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm not
There's
definitely not an expert on that.
Yeah,
So
unfortunately, there are some of the chemicals that they call forever chemicals.
you're right.
There's
Plastics too,
nothing. There's
microplastics.
nothing you can
Yeah,
do about it.
right.
So, I mean, you can either die of the diarrhea or you can die of whatever's in that water. You know, it's less than 50-50 chance you'll survive. No, it's more than 50-50% chance you'll survive.
I mean,
So,
maybe you could make a solar still or something like that, that would, so when your water evaporates, like it collects, and maybe it's some of those contaminants
yeah.
are so heavy based on they're heavier than water, for example, that
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
you could
Yeah.
collect that water. Rainwater is another great example. Maybe you live in a place where you don't have any good water solutions, but it rains a lot. Start
Mhm.
collecting rainwater, or have a
Yeah,
way to
absolutely.
collect rainwater. That kind of thing. Just kind of get creative with it.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, so we've basically hit our hour. I'm not seeing any more real questions come in. So I think at this point, what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and cut this off. Guys, obviously, don't forget about the giveaway. If you have not if you have not done the giveaway yet, there's the link for it right there. It's in the description. I'll also, for the replay crew, I'll post it inside the video description as well. Yeah, that's where we're going to do it. Hopefully you had a good time, Matt, and you're welcome to come back anytime you want to. This stupid thing. So there we go. I hate when everything moves automatically. Yeah, that's about it. Anything else you want to talk about? You want to plug your channel? I mean, anything you want to say? Now's your chance.
No, I would just say, like I said earlier, I'm always about meeting new people, and I've learned a ton from the videos I've posted. A lot of people make suggestions where I'm like, wow, I never thought of that. So it's really fun to have some interaction with people. You don't have to subscribe to my channel, but if you want to come check out the videos, leave some comments, contact me if you've got questions or suggestions about things that maybe I could be doing differently. Like, absolutely, I'm all about it.
Cool.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. Anytime, man. Anytime. I'll get you the link to that developers only Discord, and we'll get you in there. And anytime you want to do something or got a question, you just reach out, and we got your back.
Awesome. Thanks.
Okay,
everybody.
guys, that's going to be about it for tonight. I'm going to push some buttons. I'm not sure what's going to. Let's see. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I'm gonna push some buttons, and
EMP.
we shall talk to you all later. Matt, you should still be here after I push that button. So
all right, sounds good.
Hang out for a minute.
All right,
All
thanks.
right, guys, stay safe. Have a great day, and I'll see you when I see you, which will be at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning Eastern time. Bye-bye.
Stay safe.
When central power rules the game, when thoughts controlled in freedom's name, when the governed lose to government might, tell me who's got the wrong kind of right.
Hey, I'm gonna do a thumbnail like you. I'm gonna have that.
Yeah, we're still live, man.
That's all right.
I pushed the wrong button.
That's all good. I saw your thumbnail. I was like, I'm gonna do one of those. I like it. That's awesome. I love it.
We may have to listen to the outro again. I'm gonna push this button. We'll find out in a second.
No worries.
When central power